Good Tuesday morning. It's September 8th, 2020. This is Guy McPherson of GuyMcPherson.com, otherwise known as Nature Bats Last. And I'm going to provide a few headlines and a market update as the stock markets opened in the United States. I'm going to start with an article I found quite a while ago. First of all, I should note that we had a long weekend because Labor Day in the United States is practiced in early September, contrary to the rest of the world, which actually celebrates the work of laborers on May 1st. One of the reasons I left active service at the university on May 1st was because that's the day we celebrate workers and workers' rights. In any event, here we are after the long weekend, so more headlines than usual, and one that goes back quite a ways is from Sky News. Worst UK wheat harvest in 40 years prompts flour price hike fears. That's from August 23rd, 2020. And as I've indicated several times, every civilization relies upon bread and circuses. I've no doubt we'll have circuses till the end for this global model that we're currently operating under. But once the bread starts to run out, this civilization is seriously threatened. I suspect that is the largest threat to this set of living arrangements currently is the inability to get food on the grocery store shelves. From Bloomberg, raging campus outbreaks send students home across the U.S. Well, geez, who would have known? I used to think that university administrators were smarter than complete and total idiots, but they are so afflicted with a monetary obsession that they're going to keep campus open even if it kills every student who shows up on campus, even if it makes them all sick. The chase for the almighty buck is so profoundly important on university campuses that university administrators, as nearly as I can tell, couldn't care less about who they're endangering as long as they keep the money flowing. Another example from the Chicago Tribune, Northeastern University dismisses 11 students who gathered in same hotel room, violating social distance rules, and won't refund tuition. This is the important part here. It's one thing to suspend students for violating university rules, even if they are off campus. It's quite another to not give their money back. Again, it's all about the money. With this set of living arrangements, it doesn't matter what job you've got, what esteemed position you have at what truth-telling university. It's always all about the money. All right, from Fox Business, where are all of the jobs? These sectors hired the most workers in August. From the article, the U.S. economy created 1.4 million jobs in August, powered in part by the tens of thousands of workers, many temporary, hired by the federal government, the Labor Department said Friday. So this is important, and it indicates a deviation from the way the labor market used to keep track of what workers were, who qualified as a worker, as employed or unemployed in the system. Now, temporary workers who might only be working for a few days, those count? From NPR, Fed's Jerome Powell, jobless rate better than expected, recovery to take a long time. Well, especially if you measure the jobless rate based on all those people you gave a job to for 15 minutes. And you're calling that jobless rate better than expected. Of course the recovery is going to take a long time. Feel free to weigh in at any point. I know, it's ludicrous, isn't it? From the Motley Fool too. From the Motley Fool, stock market crash 2.0. A perfect storm is brewing. I don't know how many times I've heard that perfect storm analogy and I'm growing a little weary of it, but the case still stands that the stock market crisis is directly in front of us. And if you can't see it, just keep your eyes closed because there's no joy in seeing it. From Forbes, stock market crash, warning signs are flashing. Even Forbes is telling you and I that we got trouble ahead. From the Dallas Morning News, Southwest Airlines CEO Gary Kelly, if things don't improve, this just can't continue. Really? If you don't have a bunch of people clamoring to get aboard airplanes, you think that's gonna cause some sort of financial pain for the airline industry? Hard to imagine, isn't it? From Business Insider, a Wall Street strategist that nailed last week's sell-off says the only path to a, quote, sharply higher, end quote, stock market is a dot-com-like bubble. Okay, so those are the options. We have a continued inflation of the bubble, or we have the bubble pop. We have the bubble pop now, or we grow the bubble a little bigger so that it can pop later. Are you into big noises? From Axios, Pew, record 52% of young adults in the U.S. are living with parents amid the coronavirus pandemic. Well, of course they are, because they don't have jobs, despite what the Labor Department says about the job they gave that kid for 15 minutes. They don't have jobs. They still need to get by. They still need to eat. They still need to drink water on a daily basis. Well, go figure. From Reuters, oil slides over 3% to lowest since June on demand fears. Demand fears are actually demand reality, because the fear has become reality. Again, all of these things are connected. The stock market is falling apart because fewer people are getting paid less money. And as a consequence, young people are living at home with their parents again. Not because they want to. They'd rather be out partying and being kicked out of universities for partying against the rules. As a consequence, oil slides over 3% to lowest since June on demand reality, not just demand fears. From the Wall Street Journal, mortgage refinancings boom even as coronavirus hits economy. Lenders, here's the subhead, lenders issued $1.1 trillion in home loans between April and June, according to Black Knight. Low rates boosted refinancings. Of course, so if the Fed continues to lower the prime interest rate down now to zero and falling rapidly into negative territory, then people will look for opportunities to make money off of that, and that includes buying houses. Because all those kids went back to live at home with their parents, so suddenly there's a bunch of houses on the market. You see how these things are sort of related? From Bloomberg, drug makers pledge to avoid safety shortcuts on COVID vaccine. Well, I would certainly hope so. This is from this morning, by the way, and this is from the article. In an unusual public letter, the companies agreed to submit the vaccines for clearance only when they're shown to be safe and effective in large clinical trials. The chief executive officers of 9 frontrunners in the push for coronavirus inoculation signed the pledge. And then there's a list of the 9, which includes all the major players in the pharmaceutical industry. So there you have it. For what it's worth, an unbelievably divergent set of headlines, sometimes divergent within the headline itself, such as the NPR article quoting Jerome Powell. And where's it going? Well, here we are at 9:37 Eastern Time on the East Coast of the United States, and accounting for the lag of 30 minutes between when the market opens and when I get the news. Here we are with all the market indices in free fall yet again, as occurred last Thursday and Friday. The Dow is down about 400, the NASDAQ is down 320, and the S&P 500 is down 60 plus points. So, if you like free falling, the song by Tom Petty, now is a good time to play it.